Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
This morning, 32 people were killed and 127 others were wounded during an explosion at an Iraqi army recruitment center in Baghdad. Security sources report that the suicide bomber tied his hands to the vehicle's steering wheel before crashing into the center and detonating it in front of a crowd of people. Meanwhile, 6 Iraqi security guards from the civil defense were killed when another car bomb went off in the area of Yathrib, north of Baghdad. Due to the deteriorating security situation in Baghdad, the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan eliminated the possibility of the organization's return to Iraq.
Dozens of people were killed, and their body parts were scattered all over. Others lost their limbs and are currently receiving treatment. This operation took place as the date of the transfer of authority approaches. This is the second blast of its kind at the entrance of this former airport called Al-Manar. At the entrance, dozens of young Iraqi men lined up, trying to enlist in the Iraqi army. It seems as if they have never learnt their lesson from the first attack on the center, thus falling victim to this second operation.
The explosion happened at 9:05 a.m. A car exploded. People were waiting in front of the army recruitment center. There were about 150 people.
A suicide bomber drove a Volkswagen up to the entrance, to be blown into pieces, killing and wounding dozens of people during the morning rush hour in Baghdad. Civilian vehicles passing on the street were immediately hit. This is a lively street in Baghdad, and it is usually bustling with people all day.
We evacuated the bodies of the dead and the wounded to be transported to hospitals. There were about 50 bodies and 20 people wounded.
Shrapnel was scattered a long distance away from the area as ambulances rushed to the scene. As usual, the U.S. forces blocked off all roads leading to the site. Meanwhile, blood was drying on the ground and body parts were scattered everywhere. The victims were trying to improve their lives by enlisting in the new army, but their bodies were torn to pieces.
We came out and saw body parts everywhere. What kind of people would do this? These are people coming from all municipalities to volunteer and improve their life.
We found this letter at the site, a love letter amidst the ruins. Naji, who may have been one of the volunteers, writes in the letter, "I am not saying goodbye, but I am saying until we meet again." Janan, however, will no longer be seeing Naji. He will not survive the attack, but he loved her till death. The Iraqis have been living in fear for 35 years, and they continue to live in it, but under different circumstances, which may be even more horrific than past ones. The question is, was the past regime the lesser of two evils?
The latest terrorist events in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have increased fears of far worse attacks in the coming days. Observers' fears are based on the advanced method of attacks, such as kidnapping and killing of foreign workers involved in oil and defense. In the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, some are saying that the assassinations being carried out by members of Al-Qaeda against foreign contract workers in the areas of oil and defense are new methods that aim to shake security within the kingdom. Others say that these series of recent attacks that target foreigners in the oil and defense sectors of the largest oil-producing country in the world was studied and planned early. This became clear when extremists killed 2 American military contractors outside their homes in the capital of Riyadh. Then,